Man, it is really weird talking about myself like this. Whew, okay. Here we go. You know, in retrospect, it's pretty weird that a Colorado kid like me, born and raised miles and miles away from the ocean, would end up caring so much about it. I mean, it's only weird in the fact that it seems unnatural to other people, I guess. To me, it's always been as natural as breathing, like something embedded in my DNA. I can't really explain it. Even before I could express it, I guess I knew. As a kid, I just always loved the water. I played in the rivers of my home state. I splashed in local pools to pass the time. I made my own rivers and lakes in the mud of our backyard with a hose. Man, I remember my first trip to Disney World when I was young, and all I wanted to do was swim in the hotel's pool. I mean, all of Disney World was right there, and all I wanted to do was swim. The pool was way more interesting to me. So, of course, I begged my parents to get me scuba certified, which they acquiesced to when I was 12. I never looked back after that. And as I explored this new, amazing, crazy world beneath the waves, I grew to really, truly love it. Every fish, every eel, every ray, every coral and kelp blade, all of it was a portal. It was living art that invited me to learn more and more in a space that just had endless things to know. From that love of this world was born a desire to protect it. In one of her books, The World is Blue, legendary ocean explorer Sylvia Earle wrote, "Knowing is the key to caring, and with caring, there is hope that people will be motivated to take positive actions." As I dove more, knew more, I saw the reefs degrade year after year. I saw ecosystems begin to tip out of balance and lose some of the beauty that I remember. More and more, I didn't want to just explore and learn. I wanted to do something that really made a difference. And I wasn't doing that, back in the day. For years, I worked as a chemist, for a private company, making money, making ends meet, and it worked well, but it was hard to call it fulfilling. I didn't know what else to do, though, so I just kept working and, traveling and diving when I could. In 2017, though, I traveled to Washington, D.C. to take part in March for the Oceans. It was a big demonstration to advocate for the protection of our global oceans right there on Capitol Hill. I wanted to feel like I was doing something, like I was helping. I needed to find something to grasp onto, to aim for. Not living near an ocean, I didn't really know what I could do. I was, confused. Plus, Sylvia Earle was set to be a speaker, and that I had to be there for that. Of course, as fate would have it, Sylvia's speech ended up getting canceled, but I stuck around at the venue anyways. I don't remember why, and somehow, I ended up getting something way better. I actually got to meet her one-on-one. I don't rightly remember how I managed that. Either way, I took the opportunity. I took that opportunity to ask her directly what it was I could do to help, what actions I could take, what school to go to, what organizations to join, where to put my money. But she didn't tell me any of that. Instead, she told me, matter-of-factly, well, in order to do that, you need to be the best you that you can be. It was so strange. It was like in that moment, I didn't really get it in that moment, but it seemed so out of place. But in reality, I think she saw right through me. Like she knew the only reason that I wasn't doing anything was in fact no reason at all. It was excuses. I didn't see it at the time, but it was the best advice I could have gotten. And over the few years after that, my excuses kind of just unraveled. Who cares that I'm an inland kid? Who cares that I don't live near an ocean and can actively outplant corals? Everything is connected, and what I do have is a voice. And the idea of using that voice just grew more and more and more. This show, Bio-Diversity, was a part of my response. My own little way to honor those words, to be the best me that I can be. Rooted in the idea that knowing is the key to caring, I wanted to share the excitement that I felt every time I took a breath of compressed air. Biodiversity is a total passion project, something I cobbled together in my free time after shifts testing pharmaceuticals in the lab. There were times that I dreamed it would be a Twitch stream, a YouTube channel, even ideas of a D&D live play floated around. But I am glad I landed on the podcast, though. I didn't much care if anybody listened. I could shout to the void, and it still would have been worth it. But I tell you, life kind of changed after I started. It did eventually lead to me quitting my job and being accepted into graduate school at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. I took a huge leap and met an amazing community of friends and found family in the ocean space, relationships that I treasure to this day. I learned so much about the ocean, its processes, its ecosystems, the complicated network of human interactions that impact it. All of it was aimed at that same singular goal, finding out how best I can protect this magical place by being a better, more authentic me. And, of course, I would love to say that leap of faith ended in a magical fashion, that after getting a 4.0 in grad school, I landed my dream job and lived happily ever after, but the reality is that there's just not a lot of money and support for conservation in general these days, and ocean-specific roles, even fewer. Since graduation, I have been bopping from job to job until each grant that I got ran out. I made a second podcast, Peek and Plunge, where I examined how my inland ecosystems affect the ocean that I love. It was the first time I interviewed experts for a podcast, which was certainly a new experience and a huge challenge. But I learned a lot, do's and don'ts, and I take that with me. From there, I worked in California state policy for a year, balancing policy work with producing the Delta Dispatch, a third podcast, honing my ability to interview, examine, and report. I've given public talks, even run summer camps, and taught high school students about sustainable seafood. In essence, these years have been spent honing my voice as a science communicator, an environmental advocate, and as a teacher. So, Of course there is a reason I am telling you all of this. And that is that despite some recent hardships, I don't think that my journey is over. In fact, I think it is time to take the next step. So all of this rambling leads to this one sentence. Biodiversity is moving to Patreon. Couple things. First off, if you are a previous fan of the show, thank you. It might be obvious, but my struggles and growth through graduate school and all of my following roles are why I haven't updated as frequently as I'd like. But for those of you that consistently listen and have even reached out to say that you've enjoyed my work, you have kept me going. The move to Patreon is an attempt to return to form and let me focus on the show without worrying so much about where my rent is going to come from. It will also let me focus on taking all of that experience from my other 2 podcast projects and making Biodiversity the absolute best it can be. Secondly, I want to stress that the main show and all of its episodes will always remain free. I firmly believe that knowledge should never be gated. Instead, becoming a patron of the show is a way for you to support what I do while unlocking some pretty cool bonuses for yourself. We're talking about bonus mini-episodes, full interviews, MP3 downloads, patron credits, a Discord community, seafood recipes, and maybe even more. All for less than the cost of a cup of coffee or 3 per month. Each episode of the show takes a long time to make. Between research, writing, recording, audio editing, and publishing, it usually takes between 40 and 60 hours of time, all usually done by myself and usually done around other paying work. And if there is a guest to be interviewed, that time can easily double, with setting up interview times, writing questions, sorting audio, removing all of the ums, ahs, and you knows. But I do it, and I want to keep offering it for free to those who can't pay, because I believe in the power of using our voices to amplify knowledge and protect the things we love. I hope that my work has been valuable to you, that I've either taught you a fun fish fact that you can whip out at parties, or maybe even inspired you to dunk your head under the waves to see the marine world for yourself. So, if you like what I do, and are lucky enough to be in a position to support me as a patron, you can find links to my newly formed Patreon in the show notes, as well as in the show notes of the most recent episode, That's Not a Fish, That's a Pokemon, which talks about the wacky world of ocean sunfishes. There are several tiers of patronage, each with their own perks, so hopefully there are options that fit your budget. If you take the leap with me, it would mean the world that you think highly enough of my work to support it financially. Thank you so much for any time and any support that you can give. Knowing is the key to caring, and I would be honored if you would help me continue to spread knowledge for everyone. Together, let's descend.